بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تمسك بسنته إلى يوم الدين ثم أما بعد. Alhamdulillah, we continue going over the tremendous book by the Fadilatul Shaykh Al-Allama Shaykh Salih Al-Fawzan Hafidhahullah Ta'ala, and that is the book that is entitled Aqeedatut Tawheed. We have reached the chapter and the section where the Shaykh Hafidhahullah Ta'ala is dealing with some examples of modern day innovation. Some examples of modern day innovation. And we have reached the section inside of that chapter. As a recap, the Shaykh Hafidhahullah Ta'ala, he broke it down into three different affairs or areas he wanted to cover as relates to modern day innovations. The first was الاحتفال بالمولد النبوة أو النبوي. الاحتفال بمولد النبوي, celebrating the birthday of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we covered that in last week's class. The next one was التبرك بالأماكن والآثار والأموات ونحو ذلك, and that is seeking blessings from different places, different traces, like remnants of people's clothes, hair, so on and so forth. And wal amwat, and the dead ones, and that which is similar to it. And the third and last area inside of this section and inside of the book deals with al-bid'ah fi majal al-ibadat wa taqarrub ila Allah, and that is the bid'ah as relates to acts of worship and drawing near unto Allah. So we pick up from the second, and that is التبرك بالأماكن والآثار والأشخاص حيا أو ميتا, and the أو وأمواتا. نعم, أحياء وأمواتا, and that is seeking blessings from places, from traces, right? Like hair, relics, and so on and so forth. And from individuals, be they alive or dead. The Shaykh Hafidhahullah Ta'ala, he says, وَمِنَ الْبِدْعَ الْمُحْدَثَةِ, and from among the bid'ah, from the innovated practices, نعم, التبرك بالمخلوقين, that is to seek blessings from those who are created, to seek blessings from created things. نعم. وهو لون من ألوان الوثنية, and this is actually a type, from the different types of al-wathaniya, idolatry. نعم. That doing this, then this is actually a type of idolatry and paganism, and these are paganistic traits and rituals. The Shaykh Hafidhahullah Ta'ala, he says, وَشَبَكَةٌ يَصْطَادُ بِهَا الْمُرْتَزِقَةُ أَمْوَالِ وَالشُّذِّ مِنَ النَّاسِ, and also this type of seeking blessings from people, this is actually from the way that in a trap that was set up by the mercenaries in order to extort the people. وَعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, this has been witnessed by those who partake in such paganistic practices, and also by others. As there was a video, as a recent, that one of the Sufis they had taken, where they were seeking blessings from one of their Sufi sheikhs. And this man, this evil scholar of theirs, he was sitting in a chair and he would extend his hand. He would extend his hand to the people so they can come and kiss it. But not just they was kissing his hand from the top, but they would grab his hand, kiss it from the top, then they would peel off dollars and place it inside of his hand. So in one hand he'll have a stack of money, the person, the sick person that was seeking blessings from this evil guy, and he'll take the hand and he'd be kissing the hand, right? From the top, kissing the sheikh's hand from the top, while he's peeling off money and placing it in the bottom, and the sheikh will be grabbing it. Every time he put a dollar in, he'll grab it, till the man ran out of money. Then he'll stop kissing the sheikh's hand, and the sheikh, he would take the evil Sufi sheikh, he would take the money, throw it in like a bucket or something like that he had there, and then he'll put it out and get ready for the next person to come. And people was coming in turns, and everybody that came, that's what they did. They kissed the hand until put dollar till the dollars ran out. Then his turn was over, he throw the money in the thing, and then another person come and he'll follow and do the same. And this is subhanallah. So anyway, the sheikh is what he's mentioning. This is from the ways that these missionaries and these mercenaries and these evil people, they have utilized in order to extort the people for their money. They extort the people from their money. These mercenaries. That's how they extort, these evil individuals extort the people from their money. What tabarruk, the Shaykh he mentions, what is mean by a tabarruk, seeking blessings? He says, talabul barakah, is to seek blessings, to seek barakah. To seek barakah, to seek blessings. Well here, and what is intended by that, here, thubut al-khayr fi shay. This means either for good to go inside of something, and to remain there, or ziyadatuhu, or that the good in something is increased, or that the good in something is increased. وَطَلَبُ الثُّبُوتِ الْخَيْرِ, and also to seek for the good to remain inside of something. وَزِيَادَتِهِ إِنَّمَا يَكُونُ مِمَّا يَمْلِكُ ذَلِكَ وَيَقْدِرُ عَلَيْهِ. But such, it can only come from an individual who he owns something from that and he has the ability to do it. That he owns the barakah, he owns these blessings, and then he has the ability to give these blessings to people, to increase these blessings inside of them, and to make these blessings remain with them. So when one reflects upon that now, listen, that blessing is owned by this individual, that this individual could make this blessing reach a person, increase inside of a person, and stay with the person. When a person reflects on that, he realizes that one, who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's only Allah who has the ability to do this. Whereas the creation, they don't own anything from this. They can't do anything of these aforementioned things. Now, the Shaykh, he says, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, فَهُوَ الَّذِي يُنزِلُ الْبَرَكَةِ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who sends down the blessings. وَيُثَبِّتُهَا, and Allah is the one who makes the blessing firm and stay with the individual. وَأَمَّا الْمَخْلُوقِ, but as far as the created thing, فَإِنَّهُ لَا يَقْدِرُ عَلَى مَنْحِ الْبَرَكَةِ, but the one who is created, the created being, he does not have the ability to extend blessings to anyone. He doesn't have the ability to extend blessings to anyone. Naam. The Shaykh Hamidullah Ta'ala, he goes on and he says, نعم وإيجادها ولا على إبقائها وتثبيتها, that the created being, he cannot give blessings to anyone, nor can he make the blessings come into existence, nor can he make it remain with someone, nor could he make it last with someone. And And that's the reality. Created things, that evil Sufi sheikh that was robbing the people and taking their money, he can't give no blessings to them. He can't make the blessing increase in them, nor make it remain with them. He has nothing to do with any of that. نعم. فالتبرك بالأماكن, seeking blessings, a tabarruk with a particular place, وآثار, and from relics, excuse me, والأشخاص, and from individuals, حيا وميتا, whether they are alive or they are dead. لا يجوز, it's not permissible. It's not permissible. It's not permissible because it will fit one of the two bills. It will fit one of the two bills. لأنه إما شرك, because it will either be shirk, it will either be associating partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that will be in the case إن اعتقد أن ذلك الشيء يمنح البركة, and that will be in the case where a person believes that that particular thing within itself grants and gives blessings. So if a person believes that that thing, whether it's a person, alive or dead, whether it's a place or a relic, if he believes that that thing itself is that which will grant to him blessings, then this is shirk. This is shirk with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The other option, or the other probability, is that what? Or the, is that out? Or it will be a wasila, wasilatun ila shirk, or it will be a means to shirk. It will be a means to shirk. Now this will be in the case, إن اعتقد أن زيارته وملامسته وتمسح به سبب لحصولها من الله. And that is, if they believe that by seeking blessings from these places, or these relics, or these individuals, live or dead, if they believe that visiting such a person or a place, and touching it, and rubbing it, and so on and so forth, if they believe that this will be a means by way in which Allah will give them blessings, then this is from that which will lead to shirk. This is from that which will lead to shirk. So either it will be a bid'ah that is shirk, a bid'ah that is shirk because they think the thing will give a blessing, or it's a bid'ah that will lead to shirk because they think that by doing this, then this will be from the reasons and the causes that Allah will bless them, increase the blessing in them, or make the blessing remain with them. The Shaykh, hafidhahullah ta'ala, he puts forward a very strong point, that's irrefutable. It's irrefutable. And that is, the Shaykh, he says, وَأَمَّا مَا كَانَ الصَّحَابَةِ, he says, وَأَمَّا مَا كَانَ الصَّحَابَةَ يَفْعَلُونَهُ, he said, but that which the Sahaba they used to do. So I want you to get the full scope now. He said, what the Sahaba they used to do, من التبرك بشعر النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وريقه ومن فصل من جسمه صلى الله عليه وسلم خاصة كما تقدم وذلك خاص به صلى الله عليه وسلم, that was the Sahaba used to do in seeking blessings from the hair of the Prophet ﷺ, and from his sweat, and from that which came off of his body. Then this is something that is particular to the Messenger ﷺ, as we have already covered. It is something that is particular to the Messenger ﷺ, as we have already covered, and this was a few chapters ago, many classes ago. Naam. This is particular unto him, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. But this was what? During his lifetime. Naam. The Shaykh, he mentions, he says, وَلَمْ يَكُنِ الصَّحَابَةِ يَتَبَرَّكُونَ بِحُجْرَتِهِ وَقَبْرِهِ بَعْدَ مَوْتِهِ. But the Sahaba, they did not seek blessings from his houses, nor from his grave after his death. They did not seek blessings from the Prophet ﷺ from his house, nor his graves after, or his grave after his death. وَلَا كَانُوا يَقْصِدُونَ الْأَمَاكِنِ الَّتِي صَلَّ فِيهَا أَوْ جَلَسَ فِيهَا. Nor did they seek out those places where the Prophet ﷺ, he sat, or those places that he prayed in. They didn't seek these places out, seeking from these places to tabarruk because the Prophet ﷺ, he prayed there, or because the Prophet ﷺ, he sat in that particular place, or what have you. Naam. The Shaykh, he says, لِيَتَبَرَّكُوا بِهَا. They didn't seek these places out trying to get blessings from them. وَكَذَلِكَ مَقَامَاتِ الْأَوْلِيَاءِ مِنْ بَابِ الْأَوْلَى. The Shaykh, he says, so since it is like that, wherever these awliya used to be at, and so on and so forth, it takes precedence that we don't seek any blessing from these places. Because if the Sahaba didn't seek blessings from where the Prophet ﷺ sat, where he prayed at, where he lived at, so on and so forth, then even more deservingly, the awliya, we're not to seek any of this stuff from them. Because if it wasn't sought from the Prophet ﷺ, then how's going to be sought from the likes of these individuals? If it wasn't sought from the house of the Prophet ﷺ, how's going to be sought from the house of a wali? If it wasn't sought from where the Prophet ﷺ sat, how's going to be sought from where wali sat at? If it wasn't sought from where the Prophet ﷺ prayed at, how's going to be sought from where a wali prayed at? Now, and this is very important. And no one can argue this fact. The Sahaba didn't seek this from the Prophet ﷺ, so how in the world can someone seek it from their wali? Say, oh, but wali so-and-so, he should live there. Wali so-and-so, he used to pray here. Wali so-and-so, yani, subhanallah. Na'am. وَلَمْ يَكُونُوا يَتَبَرَّكُونَ بِالْأَشْخَاصِ الصَّالِحِينَ. And this is a very important point, that the Sahaba, they never used to try to seek blessings from righteous people. They never tried to seek blessings from righteous people. Now, and this is important, because as funny as it crazy as it may sound, you have individuals who they will rub the quote-unquote wali, evil sheikh, evil Sufi sheikh. They'll rub them. And then you see them rubbing their face, rubbing their body, right? As if they're rubbing barakah off of him, and they rub their face, they rub their body, kiss his hand, and rub themselves, and try to get subhanallah, this is from evil Sufi sheikh, trying to seek barakah from him. Na'am. Shake his hand, rub it, then rub themselves. Yeah, what is this? The Sahaba, they never used to try to get barakah from righteous people. Like who? Ka'Abi Bakr, wa Umar, wa ghayrihima. Like Abu Bakr and Umar, and other than them, and Abu Bakr and Umar, they are the best of this ummah. They are the best of this nation. So, if the Sahaba didn't try to get blessings from Abu Bakr and Umar, how in the world someone would try to get blessings from somebody else when Abu Bakr and Umar, they are the best of the Muslims after the prophets and messengers? Now, and this is irrefutable. No one can argue with that. So, of course, these evil Sufi sheikhs, they don't deserve anything of that. Now, because they don't got nothing from that. Ala kulli hal. The Shaykh, he says that Abu Bakr and Umar min afadil as-sahaba, they were from the best of the Sahaba radiyallahu anhum. Wala fil haya, they didn't seek this tabarruk when they were alive. Wala ba'd al-maut, nor after they had died. They didn't seek it when they were alive, nor did they seek it once they had died. ولم يكونوا يذهبون إلى الغار الحراء. نعم. This is very important, especially for those people who make umrah. Very important to know, because you have these tour companies, and they'll take you to visit different sites, historical sites, right? But listen, the Sahaba, they didn't used to go to Mount or the cave of Hira. The cave of Hira. We know the cave of Hira was where revelation first came to the Prophet ﷺ. The Sahaba, they didn't used to go to those places. They didn't used to go to the cave of Hira. نعم. وَيُصَلُّونَ فِيهِ أَوْ يَدْعُوا. They never used to go to the cave of Hira and then pray there, nor make dua there. They didn't do this. They didn't do this. Man, how unfortunate now. You have people, they visit there thinking that there's, I don't know what they're looking for. But the Sahaba, they didn't do this. Nah, they didn't do this. So this is something to remember. وَلَمْ يَكُونُوا يَذْهَبُونَ إِلَى الطُّورِ الَّذِي كَلَّمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ مُوسَى. Nor did they go to Mount Tur. Nor did they go to Mount Tur, that mount where Allah spoke to Musa there. Naam. They never used to go to the Mount Tur لِيُصَلُّوا فِيهِ وَيَدْعُوا, in order to make salat therein or to make dua. And these are some important places now. The Mount of Tur, Naam, Ghar al-Hira, these are some important places. But the Sahaba never used to go there to pray or to make dua. This is a very important lesson. So if this is the case with these prestigious places, then how can someone justify going to a place where Sufi so-and-so used to be at, or Wali so-and-so used to be at, and then making dua or praying in that place just because of this particular individual? We say this has no place in the deen. No justification for it whatsoever. أو إلى غيره من الأمكنة من الجبال التي يقال, nor from other than it, from the mountain, from the mountain on which it was said, إن فيها مقامات الأنبياء أو غيرهم, that inside of this mountain you had different places where the prophets, they stood on this particular mountain, and other than them. ولا إلى المشهد مبنية أو المشهد مبني على أثر نبي من الأنبياء, nor did they visit those places that they had constructed, places of, or like vigils, whatever the case may be, for lack of a better term or translation, where they claim that some of the Anbiya used to be there, على أثر النبي, or there was some relic of one of the prophets from the prophets. You don't find the Sahaba, they never visited any of these places, paying homage to them or anything like that. So doing such, if it's not done for the relics of the Anbiya, then how could it be done for the relics of other than them? If it's not done for the relics of the prophets, then how would it be done for the relics of other than them? Now, the Shaykh Hamdulillah Ta'ala says, وَأَيْضًا فَإِنَّ المكان الذي كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يصلي فيه بالمدينة النبوية دائما لم يكن أحد من السلف يستلمه ولا يقبله. He said, and also in those places, furthermore, those places where the Prophet ﷺ, he used to always pray at in Medina, when he used to regularly pray there, now, you don't find any of the Salaf used to go to those places to touch him and kiss him. Never happened. Now, وَلَا الْمَوْضِعِ الَّذِي صَلَّ فِيهِ بِمَكَّةِ وَغَيْرِهَا, nor the place where he used to pray at in Mecca, or other than it, none of the Salaf, they used to go to these places and rub him and kiss him. Now, فإذا كان الموضع الذي كان يطأه صلى الله عليه وسلم بقدميه الكريمتين ويصلي عليه لم يشرع لأمته التمسح به وتقبيله، فكيف بما يقال إن غيره صلى فيه أو نام عليه. He says, and if those places where the Prophet ﷺ, he walked with his two blessed feet, it touched those places, his two noble feet touched those places, and he prayed therein. If it is not legislated that for the ummah that we touch those places and kiss those places, he said, then how about those places where it's said that other than the Prophet ﷺ prayed in or slept in, so on and so forth. Then how can these places be touched and kissed and rubbed and so on and so forth? Now, فَتَقْبِيلُ الشَّيْء مِنْ ذَلِكَ وَتَمَسُّحُ بِهِ قَدْ عَلِمَ عُلَمَاء باضطرار من الدين الإسلام أن هذا ليس من شريعته صلى الله عليه وسلم. He said, so thus the likes of kissing these places and rubbing on these places, then it is against that which is known to the scholars by necessity, and such are practices that do not belong to the legislation, to the sharia of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And then the Shaykh, hafidhahullah ta'ala, he gets into the last and the final portion of the book, and that is al-bid'u fi majal al-ibadat wa taqarrub ila Allah. The Shaykh, he says, al-bid'u التي أحدثت في مجال العبادات في هذا الزمان كثيرة, that the bid'ah that has been introduced as relates to worship in this time, that it is many. فالأصل في العبادة, the origin as it relates to ibadah is توقيف, is that we stop, meaning that we have to have a proof and evidence. Before, if we don't move until we have a proof and evidence. نعم. فلا يشرع شيء منها إلا بالدليل. So there is nothing that is legislated from ibadah except that we have for the proof and the evidence. وما لم يدل عليه دليل فهو بدعة. And that which there is no proof that points to it, then it is bid'ah. لقوله صلى الله عليه وسلم, according to the statement of the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, من عمل عملا ليس عليه أمرنا فهو رد. Whoever does an action that does not have on it our command, it is rejected. فالعبادة التي تمارس الآن ولا دليل عليها كثيرة جدا. And those acts of worship in which people they do today that have no proof and evidence. Examples of the bid'ah as relates to ibadah in which people do today that have no proof of evidence, then there are a lot. From them, minha, الجهر بالنية للصلاة. From them is to say the intention out loud before the prayer. بأن يقول, that a person, he says, نويت أن أصلي لله كذا وكذا. He says, I have intended to pray for Allah this and this prayer. The Shaykh, he says, وهذا بدعة. This is innovation. لأنه ليس من سنة النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, because it's not from the sunnah of the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم. ولأن الله تعالى يقول, and because Allah تعالى, he says, قل أتعلمون الله بدينكم والله يعلم ما في السماوات وما في الأرض والله بكل شيء عليم. Allah ta'ala, he says, what translated means, and say to them, are you going to teach Allah about your religion when Allah knows what is in the heavens and that which is in the earth, and Allah is knower over all things? Allah knows all things. Now, the Shaykh, he says, وَالنِّيَّةُ مَحِلُّهَا الْقَلْبِ, that the intention, its place is inside of the heart. فَهِيَ عَمَلُ الْقَلْبِ لَا عَمَلُ اللِّسَانِ. So thus the intention, it is an action of the heart, is not an action of the tongue. Also from the modern day bid'ah is الذِّكْرُ الْجَمَاعِ بَعْدُ الصَّلَاةِ. That is to make congregational dhikr after the prayer. To make the congregational supplication after the prayer. لأن المشروع أن كل شخص يقول الذكر الواردة منفردا, is that every person, what it is legislated, is that every person says the supplications after the salat to themselves. They say it to themselves. They don't do it in a congregation. They don't do it collectively. They say it to themselves. Also, from the modern day bid'ah, طلب القراءة الفاتحة على مناسبات وبعد الدعاء وللأموات. And that is to ask that Fatiha be recited on certain occasions after supplications and for the dead. On certain occasions, people will say, Al-Fatiha, but they want you to recite Al-Fatiha. This is bid'ah. It's bid'ah. There's no origin for this inside of the religion. Also, from the modern day innovation, إقامة مآتم على الأموات وصناعة الأطعمة والاستئجار المقرئين. That is, to have the funeral processions and these mourning occasions for the dead, upon the dead, where food is made for it, reciters are hired for it to come and recite the Qur'an. يزعمون أن ذلك من باب العزاء. They think that this is from the ways of mourning, and this is not correct. Or they think أو أن ذلك ينفع الميت, or they think that doing this, it will benefit the one who is dead. And this is not correct. It does not benefit the one who is dead. وَكُلُّ ذَلِكَ بِدْعٌ لَا أَصْلٌ لَهَا. All of this is innovation. It has no foundation inside of the religion. وَأَصْوَارٌ وَأَغْلَالٌ مَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ بِهَا مِنْ سُلْطَانٍ. Now, all of the likes of these things, and these rituals and so on and so forth, these are things that these things are things that have not been sanctioned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are things that the people, they have imposed upon themselves, and they have stressed themselves out and worn themselves out to do it, but are things in which are not legislated and sanctioned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, also, from the modern day innovations, al-ihtifal bil-munasabat al-diniyya, and that is celebrating religious occurrences or religious events. Religious events. كالمناسبة الإسراء والمعراج, like the event of the Isra wal Mi'raj. People are celebrating, have celebrations and things that they do upon it, the Isra wal Mi'raj. والمناسبة الهجرة النبوية, or they will have celebrations for the hijrah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وهذا الاحتفال بتلك المناسبات لا أصل له في الشرع. And the likes of celebrating these things, there is no origin for it in the religion. There is no origin for it in the religion. And also, from the modern day innovations, ومن ذلك, and also from that, ما يفعل في شهر الرجب, is what people do inside of the month of Rajab. And it's important that we learn our Islamic months. It's very important that we learn our Islamic months. These are our months. Now, as far as the other stuff, that's not ours. It's not our calendar. Okay? Our calendar, Islamic months. Now, so it's homework. Whoever doesn't know them, learn them, inshallah ta'ala. Use them. But just don't know when we in Ramadan. Some people, that's the only time they know what the month is Ramadan. Any other than that, they start talking some more other stuff. No. Learn all the Islamic months and know what month you're in and what date it is. Now, learn it, inshallah ta'ala. And use it. Now, also, that which the people, they do inside of the month of Rajab, from worship, ibadat khasa bihi, some acts of worship that they specified to be done only in Rajab, كتطوع بالصلاة والصيام فيه خاصة, and that is they have different prayers that they may do, voluntary prayers and voluntary fasting that they have specified to do inside of Rajab. فإنه لا ميزة له على غيره من الشهور. There is no specification for Rajab. There is no special place for Rajab that it has over the other months. نعم. ولا في الصيام ولا صلاة ولا ذبح للنسك فيه ولا غير ذلك. There is no special salat that's supposed to be done, no special prayer that's supposed to be done, no special slaughtering or sacrifice that's supposed to be done in Rajab or other than that from different acts of worship. There is no acts of worship that are specifically supposed to be done inside of Rajab that's different than any other month. Rajab is like any other month. نعم. طيب. ومن ذلك, also from that, أذكار الصوفية بأنواعها. Also, the Sufi dhikrs, the Sufi du'as, in all of their types. All the Sufi du'as, okay? All the Sufi supplications. All of the Sufi supplications is from what? The modern day bid'ah. طيب. نعم. The Shaykh, he says, كلها, all of it, bid'ah. All of it is bid'ah. ومحدثات, all of it is bid'ah and newly invented matters. Innovation and newly invented matters. لأنها مخالفة للأذكار المشروعة في صيغها وهيئتها وأوقاتها. Because these Sufi supplications, they go against the legislated supplications inside of the manner in which they are done, inside of the wording of them, the manner that they are done, and also the time frame in which they're done in. Now, all that is bid'ah, and from the modern day innovations. وَمِنْ ذَلِكَ تَخْصِيصُ لَيْلَةِ النِّصْفِ مِنَ الشَّعْبَانِ بِالْقِيَامِ. Also, is specifying the night, the middle night of Sha'ban for standing. Sha'ban is another Islamic month. We should know it. If not, we gotta learn it, inshallah ta'ala. That is to specify the middle of Sha'ban, that night, to pray Qiyamul Layl during that night. وَيَوْمِ نِصْفُ مِنْ شَعْبَانِ بِالصِّيَامِ. And they specify the middle of Sha'ban to fast on that day. There's no specifications inside of the Sunnah to pray that night or to fast that day. That night is like any other night, that day like any other day. Now, so to specify for fasting and for standing this night, this, the Shaykh says, فَإِنَّهُ لَمْ يَثْبُتْ عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم في ذلك شيء خاص به. There is nothing confirmed in the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم that specifies that practice to be done. Also, ومن ذلك, from it, البناء على القبور, is building things on top of graves. Building things on top of graves, this is from bid'ah. Tombstones, it's from bid'ah. Naam. وَاتِّخَاذُهَا masajid, building edifices and that over the graves is from bid'ah. Also taking the graves as places of worship, building masajid over them, this is from bid'ah. وَزِيَادَتُهَا لِأَجْلِ التَّبَرُّكِ بِهَا, and extending of the graves in order to what? In order to seek blessings from it and so on and so forth. وَالتَّوَصُّلْ بِالْمَوْتَى, and to seek nearness to Allah by way of this person that's dead. وَغَيْرُ ذَلِكَ مِنَ الْأَغْرَاضِ الشِّرْكِيَّةِ, and other than that from the polytheistic practices, وَزِيَارَةُ النِّسَاءِ لَهَا, and for the women to visit the likes of these places and the like. مع أن الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم لعن زورات القبور, even though the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, he cursed those women who they are visitors of the grave. والمتخذين عليها المساجد وسرج, and also those taking the graves as places of worship and lighting candles on the grave. This is a very important point that Shaykh Sulaiman al-Ruhaili, he mentioned, and that is some of the ulama, they mentioned that it is not permissible to light candles in the graveyard, or to bring a lantern, to light lanterns in the graveyard. It's not permissible. So candlelight visuals and all that type of stuff, bid'ah, not from Islam at all. At all. It's not permissible to light a candle or to bring a misbah, to bring a lantern to the graveyard and light it up. It's not permissible. The Shaykh, he mentions that the only time we are allowed to do such is if there is a need. Meaning, if a person gets buried at night, they get buried at night, so obviously you gotta have light because you're burying a person at nighttime. So if you're burying someone at night, then you could bring a lantern. If you're burying someone or a flashlight or what have you, some kind of lighting because you're burying the body at nighttime, which is from the Sunnah. So it's no problem to bring light, for illumination at that time. But other than that, it's not permissible. And the Shaykh, he mentioned that those hadith where the Prophet ﷺ, he would visit the graves in Baqi' at night, it is not stated that he brought with him a lantern or he brought with him candles or anything like this. So it is not permissible to bring these things to the graveyard, but this is from the modern day bid'ah. The Shaykh, he says, وَالْخِتَامًا نَقُولُ. And in conclusion, we say, إِنَّ الْبِدْعَ بَرِيدُ الْكُفْرِ. That verily innovation is the postcard of disbelief. Innovation is the postcard of disbelief. It leads to disbelief. وَهِيَ زِيَادَةُ الدِّينِ لَمْ يَشْرَعَهُ اللَّهُ وَلَا الرَّسُولُ. And it is to add to the religion that which Allah did not legislate, nor did His Messenger legislate. وَبِدْعَةٌ شَرٌّ مِنَ الْمَعْصِيَةِ الْكَبِيرَةِ. And the bid'ah is more evil than the major sin. وَالشَّيْطَانِ يَفْرَحُ بِهَا أَكْثَرُ مِمَّا يَفْرَحُ بِالْمَعَاصِي الْكَبِيرَةِ. And the shaitan loves bid'ah more than he gets more happy from the bid'ah than he gets happy from a major sin. You understand this? The shaitan gets more happy if a person does a bid'ah than if he steals from somebody, or if he fornicates, and so on and so forth. He gets more happy with bid'ah than somebody fornicating or somebody stealing or committing another from the major sins. Why? لأن العاصي يفعل المعصية وهو يعلم أنها معصية فيتوب منها. Because the sinner will do a sin and he knows it's a sin, so thus he repents from it. He repents, he knows it's wrong. You understand? والمبتدع يفعل بدعة يعتقدها دينا يتقرب به إلى الله. But the innovator, he does his bid'ah thinking that it's religion and it draws him near unto Allah. فلا يتوب منها. So he does not repent from it. والبدعة تقضي على السنن. And the bid'ah, it's what would you say? For lack of a better term and no translation, you will say like the bid'ah, it replaces the sunnah. It's like a substitute. When a muqtadi', when he takes to the bid'ah, he uses it as in place of the sunnah. Na'am. Wa tukarrihu ila ashabiha fi'l sunan wa ahli sunnah. He uses the bid'ah as a substitute and a replacement for the sunnah. Na'am. And he makes those who practice it resent the people of the sunnah, or resent the sunnah and the people of the sunnah. That those who practice it, they begin to hate the sunnah, and they begin to hate the people of the sunnah. So now it gives me understand a little better why the bid'ah is so evil. Also, the Shaykh, he says, well, bid'ah tuba'idu anillah. The bid'ah, it will repel you, it will make you far away from Allah. It will make you far from Allah. Na'am. وَتُوجِبُ غَضَبَهُ وَعِقَابَهُ. And the bid'ah will subject you, na'am, and make it for you Allah's anger and Allah's punishment. وَتُسَبِّبُ زَيْغَ الْقُلُوبِ وَالْفَسَادَهَا. And the bid'ah, it is the cause for the corruption of the heart, and for the hearts to go astray, and the corruption of the heart. وَمَا يُعَامِلُ بِهِ مُبْتَدِعٌ. And how the people of the sunnah treat the innovator, how the innovator is to be treated. تحرم زيارة المبتدع والمجالسته إلا على وجه النصيحة له وإنكار عليه. Is that we're not permitted, it is unlawful to visit the innovator and to accompany him, to sit with him, except if we are to give him advice and to disapprove of what he is doing. لأن مخالطته, because mixing with him, تؤثر على مخالطه شرا, because mixing with him, it will have a bad effect on the one who mixes with him. Now, the one who sits with him and mixes with him, it will have a bad effect on him. Now, وَتَنْشُرُ عَدَاوَتَهُ إِلَى غَيْرِهِ. It will have a bad effect, an evil outcome for those who accompany him and visit and visit with him. Now, and it will also be a means that for him to become hated by others. for him to become hated by others. نعم. وَيَجِبُ الْتَحْذِيرُ مِنْهُ وَمِنْ شَرِّهِ, but rather it is incumbent that we warn against him and we warn against his evil. وَإِذَا لَمْ يُمْكِنْ الْأَخْذُ عَلَى أَيْدِيهِمْ وَمَنْعُهُمْ مِنَ الْمُزَاوَلَةِ الْبِدْعَةِ, but if, and in the case where it's not possible that we stop him and prevent him from practicing his innovation, then in such a case, وَإِلَّا, because if we can prevent him, then we prevent him. But if we can't, وَإِلَّا فَإِنَّهُ يَجِبُ عَلَى الْعُلَمَاءِ الْمُسْلِمِينَ وَوَلَاةُ أُمُورِهِمْ الْمَنْعِ الْبِدْعَةِ, then it is incumbent upon the ulama and upon the leaders of the Muslims to stop the innovator from doing their bid'ah. وَالْأَخْذُ عَلَى أَيْدِي الْمُبْتَدِعِ, and to grab the mubtadi' by his hands and prevent him physically from doing the bid'ah. وَنَعْمْ وَرَدْعُهُمْ عَنْ شَرِّهِمْ, and to repel them from the evil that they are upon. لِأَنَّ خَطْرَهُمْ عَلَى الْإِسْلَامِ شَدِيدٌ, because their danger upon Islam, that it is much. But if we are not able to do that, if we are not able to physically stop them and to stop them from what they're doing, then we have to warn against them. We have to warn against them and stay away from them. We have to warn against them and stay away from them. The Shaykh goes on to say, ثُمَّ إِنَّهُ يَجِبُ أَنْ يَعْلَمَ أَنَّ دَوْلَ الْكُفْرِ تُسَجِّعُ الْمُبْتَدِعَ عَلَى نَشْرِ الْبِدْعِهِمْ أو بِدْعَتِهِمْ. He said, also we should know that the disbelieving lands, the disbelieving countries, they encourage the innovators to spread their innovation. They encourage the innovators to spread their innovation. وَتُسَاعِدُهُمْ عَلَى ذَلِكَ بِشَتَّ الطُّرُقِ, and they help them spread their innovation in many different ways. They help them spread their innovation in many different ways. لِأَنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ الْقَضَاءَ عَلَى الْإِسْلَامِ وَتَشْوِيهَ صُورَتِهِ, because in that is how they seek to gain victory and dominance over Islam and to eliminate Islam, or to smear the image of al-Islam. And then the Shaykh, حفظه ta'ala, he says, نسأل الله عز وجل أن ينصر دينه ويعلي كلمته ويخذل أعداءه وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وعلى آله وصحبه. And with that, the Shaykh, حفظه ta'ala, he ends and concluded this extremely tremendous book. So, being that the Shaykh, حفظه ta'ala, he ended there, then likewise we will end it there. فنكتفي بهذا القدر، وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين، وجزاكم الله خيرا.